question is, hey, is this state persistent or is it in memory? And the answer is, you can keep it in memory if you want, or you can write it to a file, or you can write it to a database, which is actually in a file. So you can use databases, you can use files, and you have it. Now you noticed a little while ago, okay, we're getting to stuff that's later in the talk, but you noticed a little while ago that I mentioned that sometimes the platform has to make a copy of a state? It calls a method to the state that says, here, make a copy of yourself. Well, wait. If I'm writing my state to a file or a database, would I have to copy my entire file system or my entire database? What we really need is a data structure that allows you to very quickly copy a file or a database. Actually, that's the next slide, isn't it? Yes, excellent lead-in, thank you. Inside the state, you have your variables. That's just, in RAM. You also have file systems and databases. But we provide you a class called File System Fast Copyable and Database Fast Copyable. And what it looks like is an entire file system, like a little hard drive that has a directory tree with files you can put in it, or a database that looks like a database, a relational database with tables and rows and columns and things. And then there's a command on it that says make it a duplicate of the entire thing. Take my gigabyte database and make a copy of it. Take my terabyte file system and make a copy of it. And in a nanosecond, it comes back and says, OK, here's your copy. Now you have 2 copies of the database, 2 copies of the file system. And they look like a byte-for-byte identical copy. And if I ever make a change to one, the other one doesn't change. It's like they're 2 separate copies. Now, of course, under the hood, we're doing, we're actually doing some tricks. So it's actually one thing. It's only when you write to it, it's a copy-on-write mechanism. It actually makes the actual copy. So we don't do the copy immediately. But it looks like you've done the copy, which is another thing I find interesting. When you're writing apps for a distributed consensus system that's real-time, which means we're going to have to do this thing with copying states, now you need a fast copyable file system and a fast copyable database. And you would think that such things would exist, and they don't. In the database world, everybody has something called a snapshot, which is like making a fast copy, which does the same trick I just said, except you get the snapshot and the original, but you're only allowed to change the original. You're not allowed to change the snapshot. So we've written a whole database system that allows you to change the snapshot, too.